Hey guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be a look back on my 2019 goals. I'm going to put my reading and writing goals in the same video because it just doesn't really make sense for me to separate them. I had them separated when I set the goals and I don't know, I prefer them together, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm also going to be, instead of just saying pass or fail on the goals, I'm going to keep stealing Rayleigh Bradshaw's idea. What she did is she gave herself a rating, so that's what I'm going to do. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to tell you how good I did on my goals, because I don't know, if I'm really close, I don't want to give myself a fail, and it makes me feel better and it tracks my progress a little more accurately. So anyways, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to start with my writing goals. My first writing goal for 2019 was to finish revisions for the first draft of Monsters and Imaginary Friends. I blew this goal out of the water. I actually am now on draft 3 of that project, and I am so in love with it. I am so happy with the progress I made and just watching the story get better and better, and I'm really proud of that one. So I'm going to give myself like a 20 out of 10. My second goal, not so much. I wanted to start revisions on last year's Nano project, and I didn't do that. I didn't even start. I did get it printed out, but I didn't do anything with it. I got too excited about the revisions that I'm currently working on, and I don't know, when I was in a revision mood, I wanted to keep revising that project, and when I wasn't in the mood for that project, I wanted to write something new. So unfortunately, I'm going to give myself a 0 out of 10 for this one. But I mean, a 20 out of 10 and a 0 out of 10, that means I have 2 10 out of 10, so I'm still doing perfect. The third goal was to come up with better working titles for my projects, because you guys may know I suck at titles. I either get them right away or not at all, and I am pleased to say that I came up with titles and I am quite happy with them. If you haven't noticed, Monsters and Imaginary Friends has the title. It's Monsters and Imaginary Friends. But I am really happy with that title. It took a little bit to grow on me because it's so similar to the working title that I hated, but it has everything that I wanted in a title. It was just, I think, too obvious that, I don't know, I just wasn't picking up on it right away. But as far as other projects' working titles go, I fixed up a couple other ones, and my NaNoWriMo project I actually had a decent title with. It's called Witch Mother, like the mother that's a witch, but also Witch Mother. So yeah. It's not the best title, but it's a better working title than I usually come up with, so I'm still going to give myself a 10 out of 10 for this goal. My fourth writing goal was to participate in both Camp NaNoWriMos and Full NaNoWriMo in November. And I participated in all 3 and I won all 3. For both camps, I set my goal to 30,000, which I achieved, and for November, I got my 50,000. Actually got it a couple days early, which was very good because November was stressful and terrible, but it was fun, but it was very stressful, and it was a lot of burnout, and it is over. I survived, and I'm happy with things. So I'm going to give myself, because I'm happy, I'm going to give myself a 12 out of 10. Even better than perfect. Goal number 5 was to work on my pantsing project, which I completed. That was one of my 30,000 word projects. If you don't know, I am a mega planner. I don't like pantsing. I don't like not knowing things. And I completely lose all momentum in my story if I don't have it all planned and outlined. And that's how I always wrote, but to push myself, I wanted to really do the exact opposite of that, honestly. So it was a lot of like randomized generators and just sitting down with absolutely no plan and putting an effort into not having a plan. And it was just this mega pantsing palooza, and it was actually so much fun. It was stressful to write, and the story is garbage, if we're being honest. And I realized that I just don't have motivation to write if I don't know what's happening, because if I start to lose steam, I don't have that next plot point to look forward to, or I don't know, I get discouraged much easier. But there are so many things that I learned about myself as a writer, and so many other techniques that I really think that I worked on while doing that. Like, my dialogue has honestly improved so much, because my dialogue before sounded very scripted, because it was. But now that I've kind of loosened up a little bit in some aspects, I think that my dialogue has improved so much, and overall, that pantsing project was just a huge success, and even though the story is garbage, it still is always going to hold a special place in my heart because it taught me so much, and who knows, maybe someday I'll completely revamp it and use a couple of those characters and tidbits for something else, but all in all, I would say I'm not going to give myself more than 10 out of 10 for this one. That's cheating. I'll give myself a 10 out of 10. Actually, no, I'm not going to put a cap on my positivity. 15 out of 10. 15 out of 10. And to end on a negative note, my 6th goal was to try writing short stories, and I didn't. I did do a couple like micro fictions, like mostly at work just when it was dead, because if you don't know, my main job is I work for a credit card company in a call center, so we're not allowed to have any sort of paper, any way to record anything. Obviously, we can't have our phones on us. Like if I have my phone in my pocket and I walk onto the call floor, I am immediately fired. Like it's pretty intense because these are people's credit cards, like security. And our computers, we can't save anything on them. So sometimes I'll just type out random things and just kind of random garbage because I know that no one can ever see it because it can't possibly get saved. So I did a couple really small things like that, just a couple scenes here and there, but yeah, I'm going to give myself like a 1 out of 10 for this one. But honestly, I think that the main reason why I wanted to try writing short stories is because I wanted to make my writing a little more concise. But I do tend to ramble quite a lot, also in real life. You may have noticed that here in my videos, I ramble a lot. So I thought that short stories would help me just kind of keep things a little bit tighter. But honestly, just through more practice with writing, I think that I've gotten a lot better at that. It's something that I'm not as bad at as I thought that I was. So even though I didn't achieve this specific goal, I still got a really similar outcome with other things. So I'm going to bump that up to a 3 out of 10. Moving on to my reading goals. My first reading goal was to read 25 books. I thought that this was going to be very achievable but a little bit challenging because the year before I read either 21 or 22 books, I can't remember. So I thought that this would be, you know, a bit of a push but still easy to achieve. I read 77 books this year. I just had such a great reading year. I read so many books that I loved. I participated in so many awesome readathons. I'm more surrounded by people who are talking about all these great books and getting me excited. I realized that I can listen to audiobooks and enjoy the story and retain the information, and it has just been such a good reading year. So because my goal was 25 and I got like 77, that's a little over 3 times as much. So I'm going to give myself a 30 out of 10. Goal number 2 was to read the 5 oldest books on my bookshelf, which was the first book in the Chevalier d'Emeraude series, the first Narnia book, Eyes of Horus by Joan Grant, To Be the Man by Ric Flair. What was the 5th one? Oh, Bidden by Kelly Armstrong. So I ended up reading Le Chevalier d'Emeraude. I liked it okay, but I don't know, it was really dry and repetitive, but I'm hoping the series improves, so I'm going to keep reading the series. I read the first 3 Narnia books, 4? I can't turn around enough to see it, but I definitely achieved that one. I ended up not reading To Be the Man by Ric Flair. I just haven't been in a nonfiction, like, autobiography mood lately, so I just wasn't in the mood to pick it up, and I didn't want to put myself in a reading slump by reading something that I knew I wasn't in the mood for, so I didn't do that one. Eyes of Horus by Joan Grant, I still haven't gotten to that one. And I don't know why, because it does sound interesting, I'm not gravitating towards it. I really tried to read it in December, but it just didn't work. And Bidden by Kelly Armstrong, I read the first 100 pages and ended up DNFing it in like my first ever DNF, because it's not for me. It's very, very smutty and I just don't like reading that stuff. So I decided, I forced myself to read something I'm not gonna like. The goal is to take it off of my unread books pile, and it is, because I DNF'd it and I'm actually gonna donate it to the store next time I'm there because I'm not gonna read it, so maybe someone else will enjoy it. So overall, I'm gonna say that's 3 out of 5 because I'm counting the DNF because I got the same outcome. So 3 out of 5, so that is a 6 out of 10, which is not bad. Third, I didn't do so great. I wanted to have less than 100 unread books on my bookshelf. I gave myself the number 100, but what I really wanted is mostly just to end the year with more unread books than I started with, and I did not succeed in that either. I think I started off with 112 unread books, and I now have 119 unread books. But to be fair, it's because I started using my library more this year, and like I said, listening to audiobooks, and I've been buying a lot of books, and I've been getting a lot of books as gifts from like family and stuff. So I definitely think that I did okay with this, but I did not achieve my goal, and I actually went backwards. So I'll give myself like a -3. Number 4, though, was to track all the books that I read. So I wanted to track them both on Goodreads and in my reading journal. One sec. My handy dandy reading journal. I have found this so much fun, and I'm not just saying that because I created it, but it's so great. Look at all of these books that I read. Like, that's awesome. And I have them all. I'm going to flip quickly because they all have spoilers. This was just a really, really good time, and I love tracking things, so this was just so great. And also tracking it on Goodreads obviously helps too, but sometimes I'm just not in the mood to log on to Goodreads, but having this just right there and being able to just quickly jot down when I start a book, when I finish the book, and my final thoughts has been so helpful. I'm actually thinking I'm going to be keeping up with that tracking because I really like it, but I think I'm going to get a new journal for 2020. I was going to just use this one until it's full because there's enough room for 200 books, and I only did 77 of them. But I don't know, I think I just want something fresh and new and exciting for 2020, so I think I'm going to make a new one. I might change some things up, and I'm probably going to change the color scheme. I'm in a really like vibrant, like greens and yellows mood lately, so maybe I'll do something like that. But anyway, that's talking about later. So I did definitely succeed in all of my tracking, so I'm giving myself a 10 out of 10 for that one. Goal number 5, not so much. I wanted to review at least half of the books that I read on Goodreads. I did not. I read 77 books, like I said. I only wrote 9 Goodreads reviews. Actually, one sec, let me find out what that percentage is. 11.7%. So I'll give myself a 1 out of 10. I need to prioritize it more. I just haven't been. And I kept meaning, because I write down my reviews in my reading journal, to type them up later, and I just never got around to it. So 1 out of 10, it is what it is. But goal number 6 was to reorganize my bookcases in a way that I was happy with, and that one I definitely succeeded with. I reorganized them, I think in like January or February, and I put it back to alphabetical by author's last name, and I have my sections redone, and I actually reorganized them again a couple months ago because I was getting more and more books, and I decided to move some of the ones over there, like some sections from that shelf to that shelf. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. It looks really nice. It's really easy for me to find everything. And also, I decided, it's hard to see while I'm sitting in front of all of them, but I pulled out all of my unread books because I think that'll just help me see the books that I need to read more, because when I'm just scanning rows of books, my eyes kind of automatically go to my favorites that I've already read, and I kind of just skip past ones that either I'm not familiar with or I just never read and aren't immediately drawn to. So having them pulled out was honestly super, super helpful. It does bother me that they're not all like flush and even, but I think I'm going to keep this up until I've at least passed my goal of having less than 100 unread books. And then if I can get the numbers down better, then I don't know, maybe I'll push them all back in afterwards, but they're going to stay like this for now because I need that extra little bit of help. But anyway, I definitely succeeded in this goal, so 10 out of 10 for that one. And there we go. Those were my 2019 goals. Honestly, I am really, really happy with them. There were a couple that I dropped the ball on, but there were some that I just really did a really good job at, and honestly, I'm proud of myself. It was a really enjoyable reading year, it was a really successful writing year, and I'm just really happy with everything I accomplished. Side note, I really think that rating the goals on a scale of 1 to 10 instead of just pass or fail is a huge help, because I just get really discouraged when you make a lot of progress and it doesn't count for anything. If your goal is to read 50 books and you read 49 books, you're going to give yourself a fail, a 0? Like, no, give yourself a 9.5 out of 10. Anyway, that's my little rant. So for anybody else who's making a goal video, give yourself all the points you deserve, because you deserve them. You worked hard, and I think you deserve all of your points. Anyway, I'm just really proud of my 2019 goals. I'm looking forward to my 2020 goals, which is going to be my next video. Stay tuned for that. I'll probably be wearing the same clothes because I'm going to film it like right now. If you guys enjoyed this video though, please click the like button to let me know, and subscribe to see my next year's goals and everything else I do. I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday, usually reading or writing related. So I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a great day. Bye!